I want to say thanks to all of y'all for coming out here this evening. I mean, you're the ones that are going to shape the future of Austin, because I intend on completely listening to each and every one of you if elected mayor. I grew up in Austin, Texas. I went to Hill Elementary School. I went to Hyde Park Baptist High School. I went to ACC and the University of Texas. I've worked as a bartender, a loan officer, and I've worked in commercial lending. What they mostly write about me is that I'm a musician or a farmer, but what some folks might not know is that I started an alternative energy company right here in Austin, where my dad started his technology company years ago in the 80s, and where my mother's been a teacher for over 30 years. I had not thought about getting into politics, but like so many of my friends that grew up here, I didn't like the course Austin was on and where it was headed, and so many of my friends, as they reached adulthood, couldn't afford to live here any longer. And they were fleeing to Cedar Park and Buda and Kyle. And I felt like our leaders aren't listening to us. They're not giving us a choice. I'm not going to approach this like someone that's been on the council the better side of the decade, or like an attorney or an insider. I'm going to approach this just who I am, somebody that grew up here. So I listened to my friends and I jumped in, and I'm excited about the future of Austin. I'm excited about the 10-1 system, because my experience, I've been bringing people together. In the music industry, it's difficult to get 4 people with egos all together, making something magical on a stage, especially if you're traveling together. And I think that in the 10-1 system, we're going to have a similar challenge of people holding out for what they want over what someone else wants, and we're going to have to find their strengths and get everybody at the table. So as far as policy, I'm not for the rail bond. I think it's too affordable. Too not affordable. I think it's gonna cost us way too much money. I think that they're saying average family $180 a year. It's going to be a lot more than that. It's going to force people out of their homes. It's going to continue to make Austin unrecognizable north, south, east, and west. I've lived north and south of the river, east and west of the river, over on Fairfield, and this is not the Austin I grew up in, and I want to save the remaining native Austinites with a 20% property tax exemption, start working with the state to get rental properties exempted so we can pass those savings along to renters. I also want the council and the insiders to understand that they have 2 tools to help you. One is not supporting this rail bond, because that's going to be $180, and you'll hear the 20% property tax exemption. They're saying that saves $190. If they're not on board with both of those, there's no gain. I'll see you November 4th. Todd Phelps. Todd Phelps for Austin.com. Thanks.